Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. This is our last one on our list of the Golden Nugget games of the year. I'm joined by Preston, a.k.a. the Sports Cheetah, Brian Leonard, both guys of Wager Talk. Of course, I'm Marco D'Angelo, your host. These two guys put together $46,000 worth of bets today at the Golden Nugget. And that was at $1,000 at a time, because that's all they would let you bet on these games. And you punish some of these lines. And Preston, you just don't like Missouri. You're going against Missouri here again. We got BYU getting 12 points here. Unique situation with this game too. And tell us about BYU plus 12.
It is, and this isn't necessarily an anti-Missouri play, I don't think. If there was one game on the entire sheet here of this was, I thought, the best play on the board. And I'll explain why. It just situation, which I know you've talked about, is kind of your in-game stuff. Generally, since BYU's gone and been independent, they've had a lot of really good spots getting teams who are in the middle of conference play, who have to travel away from home and play BYU's a game. It doesn't really matter. They're focused on trying to win their conference, especially a team that's, maybe it would matter if they played Alabama, who's 10-0 and needs to make sure they win to go to the playoff, or Ohio State. But at Missouri's sake, or last year they got Virginia at home, or even Boise State, or those types of games where the win against BYU isn't as important as a win like Mississippi State, who Missouri plays the week before on a Thursday night at home, and then they have to play Tennessee, who's a team I think is going to be really good this year, the following week. So in general, that's a really good spot, I think, to back BYU, who they take every game and every week just as it comes, because that's what their schedule is. It's scattered across the whole nation. Strictly other than that, situationally, I made the number officially. Let me just double check. I made Missouri 1-point favorites as far as the power ratings go, and they were putting up a 12 for BYU, which I think 11 points is the biggest discrepancy I saw as well on the board. Plus, situationally, I'd play BYU anything around 7. I think that's plenty to get. I think it's going to be a close game, and BYU could easily actually surprise people. Their team in general, I think, is going to be a little undervalued. Taysom Hill is the quarterback that early on last year was like a Heisman candidate, was killing it through 5 or 6 weeks. He broke his leg. He sat out the rest of the year. They had to have a backup who had never played FBS D1 football before, and he actually did okay. The defense wasn't as good, but I think BYU kind of like trailed off in people's minds, and they're not really expected to do much going into this year. And I think they could surprise. And generally, they have a tough conference, but they play Nebraska, or excuse me, it's a tough schedule. They play Nebraska, they play Michigan, they play Missouri, so they play good teams. They might only win 8 games, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be a team that's competing with these other bigger schools. And so in general, I think, assuming everything I hear, I'm from Salt Lake City. You guys know I'm from Los Angeles. I live in Salt Lake City right now, so everything I'm hearing is Taysom Hill still beating everyone in 40-yard dashes on the team, which is what he's always done. He's healthy. He's ready to go this year. And if he's healthy, this is later on in the season. You never want to bank on injuries or bank against them or anything when you're doing these. But if he's healthy, if this isn't under a touchdown by October 10th, I think is when we said this game was.
November 14th.
November 14th. I was really close. If it's not under a touchdown, I'd be really surprised, actually. And so I'd advise anyone come November to take BYU getting a 7 or more.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I don't remember what I made the number, but when you're betting BYU, keep in mind these kids are going on Mormon missions. They're more men than they are teenagers or whatever. They're bigger, they're stronger, and they're more accustomed to going on the road, and they don't get flustered, especially like at BYU, things like that, when they're going on the road. And it's just a situation here with BYU is not only are the players accustomed to going on the road, they travel very well. We talk about Wisconsin every time they come to UNLV. Yeah. It's like a Wisconsin home game. Well, BYU
comes to UNLV.
Yeah, pretty much. But BYU used to come here. They were in the Mountain West for years. They would bring as many fans as the UNLV would have. So BYU travels well. This game is not an actual home game for Missouri.
Yeah, it's actually a neutral. I forgot to
neutral on that. So even though obviously there's probably going to be more Missouri fans there, there'll be a lot of BYU fans going there also.
The only thing that I'll throw out, being that BYU is a independent, if I remember correctly last year, didn't the last 2 games of the season not mean anything to BYU because they already were locked into a bowl game?
And I'll tell you this, because they bit me in the ass. Cal had 5 wins. They were at home playing for a first bowl appearance in a long time. They were only laying 3 against a BYU team that was playing. BYU covered. Well, they won the game by 7 outright. Didn't matter. So Bronco Mendenhall got them up for the game. Cal, who was in a spot to finally get back to a bowl game, didn't even take care of business like I expected him to. So not to counter exactly your
Yeah.
point, because it is something you need to look at come week 7 or 8, whenever it is.
But it was the perfect situational
It
spot
was,
to
I
take the other
thought,
team. Yeah.
to play Cal there in that spot when BYU was like, okay, we're 7 or 8 when we're playing Memphis either way in the bowl game. Well, they won anyway. So I think that's a testament to what Bronco Mendenhall does, and the kids just playing. No matter what, they have that independent mindset, I think. And by independent, I mean being an independent team. And they play well through it, I think.
All right. Well, Preston says to take BYU. Guys, I want to thank you. We're actually taping Friday night. It's been a long day for you guys. We're actually in the studio at 8 o'clock at night getting these out because we want to get them to the public before the lines get beat up anymore. So if they want to jump on and do it. And before I close, any guys talk about, some topics, Kansas City stuff in the ballot box in the All-Star game, or you know what? That's for the other guys to talk about videos. Let's leave that to them.
Speaking of the other guys, there was 3 people betting into these lines from Wager Talk, the 2 biggest sports handicapping sites on the internet. I didn't see a single person that sells picks on those sites betting into these games.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Careful, you might get in trouble. All right, that's it. He is Preston, a.k.a. Sports Cheetah. He is Brian Leonard. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. Thanks for tuning in and watching these. We'll have them posted for you. Leave some comments. You like stuff like this or anything else you want us to do for Wager Talk and some of our future videos. We'll be doing it as we get closer to football. We'll be doing videos every single week again, as we did all last year through college basketball. Appreciate you joining us. And thanks to these 2 guys. They put their money where their mouth is today, guys. Thanks for watching, wagertalk.com.